just really wanted to honor his birthday. So it's just, traditions, new traditions that me and the boys will continue throughout the years. I want them to know who their father was and keep his memory alive. I want to do that for them. Even though Ryan did some things to me that, we'll get into later on that, make anyone pissed off. I'm still, want to put a positive image, or what's the word I'm looking for the boys. It's like, why would I bash their father? I'm not going to do that. I want them to love their father. So I'm going to keep it positive, and we'll always remember Ryan in a positive way. So other than that, I'm processing those emotions still. Again, it's these holidays and anniversaries and blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, those just hit you harder. And I think I'm in the clear for a little bit. Like, we just had our anniversary, then the angelversary, then his birthday. And it's just like, let me breathe for a minute. So I think I'm good until Halloween, which was our favorite holiday, but also that's just fun for me and the boys. So I'm trying to find a balance and just keep it positive, like I said. But again, yeah, those holidays are tough, and you just never know with grief. Just trying to stay strong and keep it together. And that's what I'm doing. But that's it. So let me get into the story. Where we had left off is me and Frank and I were trying to get Ryan divorced. Because there was that little thing of him still being married to Kayla. And at this point, it's like, we decided we're going to be together. We just had Nico. When he got out, we were going to live together as a family and raise our son. But you need to fucking get divorced, and Frank really wanted him to get divorced too. So it was just such a long process, though. I don't know if anyone's gone through this, but if you have, please drop it in the comments and let me know your experience. It's just so tedious, and there's so much paperwork. I now know why people hire attorneys or one of those little legal shops to do it for you. And if I had the money at the time, it was like $400, I totally would have paid for it, because it was so fucking annoying, and it took forever. It really took forever, like years, to get him divorced. And Frank wasn't going to pay for it. He was like, we can do it. Like, we don't need someone to do it for us. And, that's how Frank is. So we pretty much, Frank went to the courthouse and got, I don't know how many pages there were, but he had like a stack. And he said he filled out as much of it as he could, but he needed Ryan basically to sign certain things. So he put like those little sign tabs everywhere he needed to, sign, make it pretty fucking clear for Ryan, and mailed it off to him. And, it's just such a process with that, getting it, mailing it, getting it to the prison, going through their prison room. Or mail room, I should say. They have to like inspect all the mail and everyone's mail. So it's a process before it even gets to Ryan. It takes forever. And then it gets to Ryan, and then he has to do it. And Ryan was pretty on top of it. Like, he got it and mailed it out like the next day. But then it's like, then they have to check it going out, and it gets back to, it takes forever to get back to us, and et cetera, et cetera. So, eventually Frank got back Ryan's portion, and he's like, okay, well, we need Kayla's now. And at this point, we had reached out to her via email, some phone numbers. I don't think I had her phone number, but Frank had a phone number for her, and we weren't getting a response. I believe I messaged her on Facebook, and I emailed her, and Frank emailed her and texted her. Any way we could try to reach out to her, we did, but we didn't get a response. We never got a response from her at first. We couldn't locate her, and we, started reaching out to like mutual friends, like, hey, do you know where she is? Because we looked at like her Facebook, and her last post was like months, before that. And I was like, oh my God, what if she's like disappeared? What if she's died? Like, that's what Ryan was saying. He was like, she's probably fucking dead somewhere. And I was like, oh my God, don't say that. But that's what he was like saying. And whatever. I know she had her struggles with addiction and I wish nothing but the best for her. But that's what he was saying. And we reached, one of the mutual friends was Santos. I was like, Santos, I know you like talked to her, and have you talked to her? Like, do you know where she is? And Santos like, I haven't talked to her in months, and I don't know where she is, but I'll reach out to her. And he lived in LA too. So I'll talk to some friends and I'll help you look. But I never heard from Santos again, really. And we just couldn't find her. It's like she disappeared. And, we were like, fuck, what are we going to do if we can't find her? So I believe you had to wait like a year in this divorce process. If the other partner was unresponsive, you had to wait like a year. And if they didn't respond within that year, you could go ahead and move on without their signature. But then you still had to wait this fucking year. And we were trying to get this done like today, So I didn't want to wait. I was like, get divorced. Like, this is ridiculous, But eventually, one day I heard from her. It was like maybe a month after I had emailed her, and she responded to my email and my message. She didn't even respond to Frank. Now that I think about it, she responded to me though. And she was being totally cool and sweet. And she's like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I've been in rehab. And she's like, that's why I haven't responded. I'm not ignoring you, but I wasn't doing good. I was struggling with addiction and I went to rehab and I'm sober now for 90 days. And I'm so sorry, but yeah, of course I'll do anything, to help with the divorce. She's like, I want to get divorced too. And before she had responded, I did not really like Kayla, and she didn't like me, because when Ryan and I first started dating, I don't know, they were still kind of talking. I think she still had feelings for him. I don't know. But me and Ryan started dating and, of course, putting on social media, and she stalked him. And then she reached out to me and started lashing out at me and going off on me for no fucking reason, just guilty by association because I was with him. And, I was drunk Karina. I wasn't going to fucking take it. So, I talked shit back and we were just going back and forth, being stupid bitches basically. And that was one reason I didn't like her. And then another reason, a bigger reason. I'm going to backtrack here a little bit, but this goes back to when Ryan first, went to jail in Santa Barbara County. So this would have been the first or second week that he was arrested in December of 2017. There was this girl, when I left Ryan during the mental breakdown, this girl reached out to me. Her name was Ashley, and she despised and hated Ryan so much. And I still to this day do not know why she hated him so much. From what I could gather, I think she just thought he was a big piece of shit. She hated him. Because I think she was a cop too. And somehow they were friends. I don't know, but then they had a falling out. But anyway, she was the kind of girl you hate Ryan, I hate Ryan. Let's be friends, those type of bitches. So she reached out to me and we kind of talked and were being cool with each other. And, but then I don't know, once Ryan got arrested and then, Ryan went to jail and I was his first phone call and we started talking again. And, I started having his back again and pretty much I was with him again. She was not happy about that. Why are you with him? And she didn't want me to be with him. It was really weird. But eventually one of these days, I kind of started not talking to her, and she sent me a bunch of screenshots and of text messages and pictures of Kayla and the prostitute and all these vulgar, text messages between Ryan and these people. So what had happened, I guess one of Ryan's friends, or ex-friend, I should say, but at the time he was his friend, hanging out with him, Ryan had passed out or something, and this guy got Ryan's phone and went through it and sent all this stuff off Ryan's phone to his phone and basically used it against him, and blackmailed him with other things. I don't know, but he basically was trying to fuck Ryan over, I guess. But he was friends with this girl, and he had sent her all this shit. And she was pretty much like, oh, okay, you're gonna be with him? Look at this. So she had sent me like this disgusting picture of the prostitute. Like she was on all fours, naked. And she's like looking back with her butt poking out in her pussy. And it was just gross, something I didn't want to see. But pretty much telling me that he fucked the prostitute, you know, like these messages kind of like showed that. And then there was pictures of like Kayla that had sent him, and she's like in a push-up bra, like half naked, pretty much saying, when you're bored to bits with that bitch, come find this bad bitch. You know, corny shit like that. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, wait a minute. Did she send this to him when we were together and he didn't fucking tell me? Like, are you fucking kidding me? I was heated. Like, I just remember feeling so hot and angry when I was reading all this stuff and seeing all this stuff he had kept from me. And, you know, I didn't know what to say, but I remember that night when I got this information, I already had plans to go to Jeff's house. Kenny was going to swoop me up, and we were going to go to Jeff's, and I was going to pick up like a box of my stuff that I still had over there and some of Ryan's random things. Cause you know, we were living at Jeff's, and then all this crazy shit happened and Ryan got arrested and I was back at my parents and Ryan was in jail. So Jeff was like, yeah, I have some stuff. You guys can come over and hang out for a little bit. I think Kenny was like going to buy some weed or something. So, you know, Kenny came and got me, and I just like completely went off and told her everything. And, you know, I just couldn't believe it. But we got to Jeff's, and I was just waiting. And I could not fucking wait for Ryan to call me and for me to confront him about this. And I knew he was going to call me because he called me all the time. So I was just waiting for the chance. But we get to Jeff's, and he still hadn't called me by that time. And, you know, I'm like venting to Jeff, and Jeff was being super cool. And I think Jeff was just really happy to have like Ryan out of the house because it was so intense and chaotic in the end. You know, I was telling Jeff, you know, and then I got a picture of the prostitute, and, you know, he fucked her, and, you know, Jeff didn't deny it. He was like, yeah, pretty much, you know, he was like confirming all this shit to me. And I was like, oh my God, it was like one after another. Like, yes, this happened, that happened. It was just like bomb after bomb. And I like couldn't take it. And then the Kayla thing, he didn't really know much about, but this, you know, the video cam porn thing got brought up again. And Jeff pretty much was, you know, just said nonchalantly, like, you know, he shouldn't have messed with that prostitute. I told him he should have just stuck with the video cam porn. It's like, wait. The video cam porn? What the fuck are you talking about? Video cam porn? He's like, yeah, he was doing video cam porn before, but like he did it with the prostitute and it didn't work out because like it didn't upload properly, and she like freaked out and her boyfriend freaked out. I'm like, what the fuck? And I remember though, I had brought it up to Ryan one time before and this is why. Because, you know, I got fired from the salon and me and Ryan were being dumb drunk sluts and Kenny was still at the salon, and, you know, there was a day Walter and her were like, you know, talking, and he's like, man, you know, I hope Karina is okay. And, you know, I feel bad that I had to let her go, and I hope she's okay on money, and I hope she doesn't do video cam porn. And Kenny's like, huh? Video cam porn? What are you talking about, Walter? Like, what the fuck? That's so random. And, you know, Walter's like, no, because of that guy she's with. He does video cam porn. And Kenny's like, what? Huh? And he's like, yeah, one of my clients, I guess his client was like a police officer, you know, knew who Ryan was. And they got to talking about, you know, Ryan, I guess, because I think it was the Independent that was going around, and Ryan was, you know, was he on the cover? Or no, he had a story in there, not the cover, but he had a story in there, and it was kind of a big deal. And, you know, they got to talking about me, who used to work there, and he's like, oh God, I hate that guy, and he's, you know, with one of my girls I had to let go, and that's a big reason why I let her go, because of him. And the police, you know, was like, I know him and he's a bad guy. You should warn her. You know, we arrested him for pimping and pandering and he was doing video cam porn and all this shit. And I remember asking Ryan about it and he like full on denied it. And here we go again. It's being brought up now by Jeff, who's Jeff's just saying it like, yeah, he should have just stuck to the video cam porn. I'm like, what? So I'm like, there's another thing now. So I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait for this fucker to call me. And it just seemed like forever, but he calls me and we're sitting at Jeff's kitchen table and I cannot wait to just go off on him. And of course, I should have processed it better, but I just start going off on him, you know. I was pregnant also at the time, so all these hormones and emotions are going through me and I'm acting like crazy. I'm just screaming at him. And, you know, I'm like, you fucked the prostitute, you lied to me about it, and then you were talking to your ex, Kayla, and she was sending you fucking pictures of her in a bra, and you didn't tell me, and you were doing video cam porn, I knew it. And I'm like, I don't ever want to fucking talk to you. So I hung up on him without him even, like, able to defend himself or explain himself. I just hung up on him because I was pissed. I was so angry. But see, I'm a sucker. I'm really angry at first, but then it's like, okay, I'll hear you out. But that's how it was. And he kept calling me. And I just wasn't answering. Eventually, though, he like would not stop calling me. And Jeff was just like, don't tell him you're at my house. Don't tell him you're at my house. He like wanted no part of the fucking drama. And I don't blame him. He went through hell in the end. Well, I went through hell too, but I didn't blame him. And Kenny's just sitting there watching all of this. But it was just like, oh my God. So eventually, you know, he wouldn't stop calling. Eventually, I answer the phone. But it's not even Ryan. I think Ryan had one of his inmate friends call. You can hear like Ryan, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put him on blast, but he was like crying in the back. He was like so sad and thought that I was like breaking up with him. And the inmate I was talking, it was like, look, Ryan's really sorry, and he's like crying, he can't stop crying, and he loves you so much, and he just wants you to know he didn't do that, and he's so sorry, you're mad, and da-da-da. I'm like, fine, let me talk to him. You know, so eventually we talk, and, you know, I'm still mad, but it's just like, and I didn't know if I should believe him or not, but he pretty much told me, still denied this shit, even though I found out this shit was true later on, but still denied it. Pretty much, no, I didn't fuck the prostitute. When later on I found out her own boyfriend told me, no, I didn't do video cam porn, just deny, and then told me that those pictures Kayla sent him were not from when we were together. They were from when he was together with his other ex, Caitlin, and it wasn't me. That's what he said. She sent them to him then. So again, who knows? But whatever. We ended up, you know, eventually, you know, I stayed mad for a little bit. But eventually he weaseled his way back in and whatever. We were good. And so that's a big reason. I didn't like Kayla because she was trying to get at Ryan, you know, still. It's like, you left him. Like, I don't understand. So anyway, fast forward now back to when I was talking to her. And, you know, I brought it up. Look, I'm going to be honest. I don't like you because you were sending him pictures of yourself, like half naked, and telling him to come get with you. And she's like, what? I did that? I don't even remember, girl. I was like so fucked up the last like couple years, pretty much, you know, telling me she was too high to remember, I guess. And she's like, I really don't. But if I did, I'm so sorry. And she's like, look, I don't want Ryan. I have a new man and I want to move on with my life too. I was like, good. Okay, let's do that. Like, you guys move on in your life and we'll move on in ours. And she was saying really nice, sweet things like, you know, I'm happy for you guys. You know, congratulations on the baby. Like, you know, you're giving Ryan everything he's always wanted, a family. Like, I'm really happy for you guys and wish you all the best. And like being nice, you know, but she was like, also, if you ever want to talk or vent, you know, about Ryan, I'm here for you because I know how he can be. And when she said that, I didn't really know what she meant. I hadn't really seen that dark side of him yet, which I did see later on. I want to say 2021 and 2022. That's when I saw that side. when he was heavy into drugs, the dark side of him. So I was just kind of like, what? I don't need, like, we're good. Like, don't worry about it, you know? But that's what she meant. Because she went through hell with him too, I want to say, during their addiction. But I can't really speak on that because I wasn't in that relationship. But I just brushed that off. And she's like, yeah, mail me the forms. I'm in Los Angeles right now, and here's my address. And I was like, cool. And I told Frank, and we were excited. So Frank got it all together, you know, highlighted where she needed to sign, all this, mailed it to her. And for a couple days again, I didn't hear from her. So I was getting worried again. But eventually she reached out. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I got it. I'm going to sign it, and I'll send it back tomorrow. And she did. She kept her word, and she sent it back. So, you know, here we go. We had her sign papers and Ryan's. So Frank was like, okay, I'm going to go to the court, and I will, I'll, you know, see about getting him divorced. Like, this should be it. So, of course, I get a phone call from Frank the next day later on after he went to the court, and pretty much telling me, like, we're still not there. I guess from these forms, somewhere from when Frank mailed it to Ryan through, you know, the jail mail room. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. The jail mail room, getting through that process and actually getting to Ryan, and then back from Ryan through the jail mail room to Frank, some forms were missing. And Frank was like, no, I sent everything. But again, I don't know if maybe Frank did miss a form or two, or it could have got confiscated in the jail, or Ryan lost one, who knows? But somewhere through all that, all the people, it was transferred from one to the other, we lost some pages. So I was like, no, fuck, you know? So they gave those pages, you know, to Frank, like, we still need page 12C, you know, section, and all this shit. And it's just like, oh my God, this is never ending. Like, I was like, fuck, he's never gonna fucking get divorced. It's not like we could just be like, here you go, Ryan. It was like such a process to go through the jail mail to get it to him and then back. And at this point, we couldn't even send it to him at Wasco anymore because he was getting moved to Centinela. So we were gonna have to wait until he got settled in at Centinela and see how the procedures were there, because every jail was different. As we were discovering, every jail he went to, there was either no communication or you had to do this or that. And as we're gonna talk about in our next story, when he got to Centinela, how crazy it was there. You know, from what Ryan told me, it was the gnarliest, scariest part of his term he ever did. Like, Centinela was the gnarliest prison he ever went to, he said. It was cracking, and they were mixing the inmates of opposite sides, you know, the GP and PC or SNY or whatever, and they were outnumbered. So these riots were going off in the jails, and people were dying left and right and getting stabbed and beat, and et cetera, as we're going to talk about in our next story. But we'll get into that. So we'll leave it here. But we're almost done with our jail stories, guys. Like, we just have a little bit of Centinela. And again, I'm not trying to drag, like, I don't feel like I'm dragging out the jail stories. I think I'm getting through them pretty quick, because from my side, I had a pretty simple life. Like, I know for Ryan, but he had a lot of stories, you know, from his prison term, because he lived it. He was there every day. I wasn't in prison. My life was pretty fucking simple on the outside. So this is like the most I can really tell you about, you know, him being in jail and pretty much how it was for me. But again, my life was really simple. I was just being a new mom, raising Nico by myself, living at my parents' house. And again, my biggest outings were like going to the supermarket or nature walks. Like, I didn't really do anything, and I was staying sober, and I was taking care of myself, and I was working out, and I was just, you know, fully dedicating my time and energy to our son. And being there for Ryan. And that's honestly like all I did. That was my life. But there was so much peace, and it felt really good. And I remember during this time, I had a new self-love for myself, because this was like the first time I was sober ever. And it just felt really good. And I was proud of who I was. And we'll get more into that later on. I'm trying to think. So yeah, we're almost done with the jail stories. And then we're going to move on to when he got out and how that first month was just like the honeymoon phase. And then we had to start looking for like a place. You know, we were living at Frank and Diane's first, and we'll get into all this. But then, you know, when I started to see the cracks start and, you know, him slip, and, you know, it wasn't so rainbows and sunshine anymore. And then we moved to West Covina, and we'll get into all that series, the West Covina series. I'll have to think of a name if not West Covina. But yeah, we're getting through it. So let me conclude with some jail mail. So let's see what we have here. See, some of these just have envelope. I'm trying to find one from either Wasco or Centinela. Santa Barbara, Santa Barbara. This is a Wasco one. Okay, so let's try Wasco since he just left Wasco in our stories. Okay, so this is dated September 5th, which is Frank's birthday, by the way. September 5th, 2018. Okay, make sure I didn't read this one. Oh no, I haven't. Hi, boo-boos and baby boos. No mail again today, sweetie. He's like giving me shit. It's okay though, boos. I know it isn't your fault. It's my dad's B-day today. I hope there's something to, their trip to NorCal went well. I got a postcard from Seth Ferranti today. It was funny. Got your letter, all good. I'll send you books, see you soon. Your bro Seth. I guess that's what the postcard said. LOL. That's it. He's a good dude and hungry for success. He's someone I'd like to work with in the future. I really hate this mail system, boos. The way they call mail is at 2 p.m. on weekends. They will get the mailbag and call us one by one like Leonie. And then we have to walk up to the podium in front of everyone. I always love to see your name on the envelope, except who the fuck is Karina Franco? You're Karina Leonie. Better start practicing. I'm sending you this little flyer. It's an app where you can send pictures directly to me. I love pics of you and baby boos, and this may be easier. I don't know. Let the usual suspects know too. Pictures are awesome in here, and I'm sure you can imagine, sometimes I really get bummed out. But I can always get through it by thinking that Nico is actually ours. How amazing is that pumpkin? People say I'm pussy whipped for writing you on days I don't get letters, but that's so stupid. I want you to be happy and feel special because you are. I love us and know we are going to have a great life together. I adore you, Karina. I really do. You are so special to me, and I always feel like the luckiest guy in the world. Every day when I wake up, look at baby boos. He's ours. We made an angel. Miss you, sweetie pie. Love, Ryan. I'm surprised he didn't write on the back, but kind of a long page, but and here is the envelope. Oh, there's something else in here. What is this? Oh, I guess this is the picture thing. I don't think we ever did this, and I'm not sure why, but or maybe I don't think I did. Or maybe I did. I honestly can't remember. I'm not sure, guys, but it doesn't sound familiar to me. And I feel there's always some reason why, like, you know, you think you can do something and then, nope, you can't do that with him because he's in trouble or in the hole or some shit. Okay. And I always like to read the back of the envelope. I have the most beautiful family in the whole wide world. So there you go. There's our jail mail for today. Well, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it here. And it's been real, as always. And I'll check in with you guys this Monday. And hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. And honestly, I would not do this shit without your positivity and support. It really makes this easier for me. And I hope you guys know that. For real. So, love you guys. Thank you. And palabra.